Let's talk about Hey Arnold again. In the 90s and early 2000s, TV and media decided to have a war on skipping school. Every time a show tackled playing hooky, you could see the signs of the trend. Hey Arnold is just one of the examples I could bring up. You could watch just about any review of a show using this premise and get the same experience as watching the episode. So in this episode, Arnold and Gerald decide that school is too exhausting and they decide to skip a day. It starts with Gerald suggesting it and having to talk Arnold into it.
We could even go to Dino Land. Dino Land.
The following day, Arnold calls into school posing as his grandfather and tells the principal that Arnold is sick and can't make it into school today. Gerald gets out of school because his dad has a box with pre-written notes, which can be a problem. Case in point. So the two make their way to an amusement park. They go on a ride and afterwards they spot the janitor from their school who just so happens to be a snitch. They run out of the park and make their way to a ball game, and somehow these fourth graders manage to get front row seats last minute for a game. This episode came out in 1997, by the way, so I highly doubt that these kids had the funds to afford tickets like these, because this has to be a college game at least. So the two get spotted by the big screen and then they leave. They were already caught. Why bother running if at that point, if their guardians were watching, then they were already caught. Plus, Arnold's grandmother probably wouldn't have cared. So after the game, they try a movie, and no dice. Arnold's grandfather shows up, and they are in the same movie. Should have just stayed at the ball game. Anyway, they sneak out and decide to get costumes.
Great idea, Arnold. These disguises, nobody will recognize us.
These costumes backfire on them because apparently there are people stealing soda in the area, and they look just like the disguises that our heroes are wearing. They get picked up by the cops, and after a while, the cops manage to catch the real criminals and release the two. Arnold and Gerald drop off the disguises in the trash and run back to the school only to find out, I'll give you 3 guesses. I bet you guys get the guess on the first try. That's right, they missed a school carnival. That came out of nowhere. I'll tell you this, no school on the face of the planet has ever had a surprise festival. Schools do not care about students having fun, more so now than back in the 90s, but everyone still knew that you would never get a carnival if the school didn't give notice, because they cost money.
Yeah, stay in school and pray that it's Carnival Day. It's not much of a moral, is it?
This plotline was never done fully properly. The closest I've ever seen is with Everybody Hates Chris, when they tackled this plot. The only reason why that one was better than this one is because they got caught.
Miss Morello? Thought you had a funeral.
Why aren't you in school?
Yeah, there was a band that appeared at the school, but Chris was caught before that was revealed.
So nothing happened in school today, huh? Who you gonna call?
This episode gets a 3 out of 10. You can see every plot point coming from a mile away. I've seen a handful of Hooky episodes, and half the time I can't distinguish the episodes from each other. This one is no different. These episodes are a dime a dozen.